Hi everyone, it's your boy Roberto here, and welcome to southern Italy in the summer of 2023 in the middle of a scorching heat wave. We slept at Rovereto the previous night and we are now heading to Biccari, a small town not too far from Foggia. Biccari is a small town where my father bought some houses for his retirement plan, and this is where our home will be for the next 6 weeks. There's this old man here in Biccari on the way to the piazza, and he makes his own salsa. The salsa sauce for the spaghetti. He uses fresh tomatoes. There he dries the tomatoes. And then he cooks it here. I say hello. Ciao.
Ciao.
Biccari has a population of about 2,800 people and can date its history back to the 11th century. This is the Fiat Panda 1000, which means it's 1000 cc's. This is actually early in the morning of the second day here. Yesterday we just settled in our apartment and my dad showed us his properties. Today he is giving us a tour of the town. Look at that view of the countryside. Here you can buy some clothes. So in Italy they usually always have these markets here in the morning, and then they close 11 o'clock and that's it. So they're only here in the morning, and then they siesta in the afternoon from about 11-12 o'clock, and then they siesta for many hours, like 4 or 5 hours. But the markets don't usually open again. Only the restaurants open again late at night.
Nome e cognome di quelle macellerie.
So you can get a bit of everything here at the marketplace. You can get wallets, bags, even electronics. Here's a very interesting shop. Ciao. Yeah, you can get some fresh vegetables. You can get some fresh vegetables here. Hey. Buongiorno. Bellissimo. And there's some guys are working there. This is the main town square of Biccari. It has a bar and a snack shop next to it. Town squares in Italy are called piazzas, and it is not unusual for towns to have several piazzas. Yeah, we just asked this lady here. She's a local from Germany. She's lived here for many years, and she said this tower is 1,350 years old. This tower is called a Torre Bizantina, which means Byzantine tower. It's 23 meters or 75 feet tall and is built with irregular stones held together by a loamy mortar. It is also considered the oldest building in Biccari.
La ragazza con la palla, oppure la donna col bambino. Ok? La ragazza girl Go.
Yeah.
Ok. Vedi la forma. La forma è
Con la paletta senza i vuole giù.
Senti, ma il filo, perché io metto il filo.
Ok.
E i parenti di Biccari, come fai a parlare lei?
Oh, it's got some history of the place.
Tumolo.
Some
Tumolo.
traditional clothing there. It looks like there's a place you can go to the top, but you need a ladder, I think. There's some tools.
Bella, un po' da riprendere.
Okay. Doma. Dom. Yeah, I think that the old man is telling me that the roof is new. It kind of looks new there. So I think maybe that collapsed in, and then they renovated it recently, and there's some tools, and so they're turning this place into like a little museum. So Angelo is just showing us around here and explaining the history, and he showed us the sword. He says this one is from 900 AD, so that makes it 1,100 years old. That's a sword. And he was just explaining the wheat here, the tools. Don't understand everything, but most of it I understand. And then he's just said that this one is for wine, so they keep wine in that. This is the Church of Saint Mary of the Assumption, known locally as Maria SS Assunta. It's Biccari's main church and is a good example of neoclassical architecture. Almost 80% of Italian people identify as Catholic, and most of the people actively go to church. Christianity was introduced to the Italians during the 1st century by unknown travelers. However, Saint Peter and Saint Paul the Apostle were also prominent figures that helped promote the religion. During our visit to Italy, we visited many churches, and each church is unique and special. To me, the church in Biccari has a very modern and bright atmosphere. The decorations in the churches are extremely detailed and convey messages from the Bible. For example, the resurrection of Jesus or the expulsion of Lucifer from heaven by Gabriel. One afternoon, my father took us to visit some of his friends, Maria and Giuseppe, who were hosting a barbecue for us. Now they live and work in Germany, but have a weekend house in the countryside of Biccari. They bought the half-built house and a decent plot of land for around 30,000 euro or 33,000 USD. When they have time, they work on their new house. The house also came with old farming equipment like this old wine press. It was very hot that day. The temperature was 42 degrees Celsius or 108 degrees Fahrenheit. It is not uncommon for the south of Italy to experience heat waves and drought during the summer. As you can see, it is so dry and hot that even the weeds dry up and shrivel. Almost anywhere you go, you can see cracks in the soil. As you already know, olive trees are very important across the Mediterranean. Olive trees originated in the eastern Mediterranean, Asia Minor to be more specific. It is suggested that Syria might be the country of origin, and then olive trees spread to Greece and other countries in the east before making their way to Italy. Olives can be milled to make oil or cured for food production. Olives cannot be consumed directly from trees as they would be too bitter due to a compound called oleuropein. Giuseppe told me something interesting. He told me that olive trees are self-fertile, meaning they can produce both male and female flowers on the same tree by pollinating themselves. However, this is not true for all olive trees, particularly those in the wild. So we just visited my father's other friend, Angelo, after we visited Malena and them. And my father's coming to the spot. He knows where he can pick fresh rosemary growing here on the side of the road. So the locals can come here and they cut the rosemary and then they dry it in their kitchen and then they use it for cooking. The next day my father took us to the forest mountains overlooking the town. Our first stop was Adventure Park, or Parco Avventura in Italian. It's a privately owned park that usually only charges entrance fee when it's busy. There are picnic tables, a children's playground and a few hiking trails that start here. The one afternoon we went back as they had an event. There were free lessons in salsa dancing. Just up the hill and around the bend, one can find Lake Pescara or Lagos Pescara in Italian. It's a serene man-made lake surrounded by forest, grassland and an abandoned house overlooking it all. There is a wonderful wooden walkway around the lake with a few picnic spots. The only downside is that the mosquitoes were quite pesky. Further up the hill, you'll find Biccari's famous wooden bench. It's basically an art piece. It's a supersized wood bench fit for giants. It's very popular amongst tourists. From up here, you'll see the whole valley with the best view of the town. This is an old Fiat 500, which means 500cc. cc is an abbreviation for cubic centimeters, which is the size of the engine. This engine has 2 cylinders and around 17 horsepower. This particular model was probably produced sometime in the mid-1950s. The work pace in Italy is pretty chilled. These guys started a building facade renovation just before we arrived, and it took an additional 4 weeks to finish. Right here we've got an original Lamborghini tractor. It can go 40 kilometers an hour. Right here in Biccari. The best time to explore and admire the architecture would be during the day. The streets are quiet because everyone is sleeping or chilling in their homes. This is the biggest playground for children in Biccari. It also has an RV parking bay just above it. The locals in Biccari are very proud of their town, and the mayor is very proactive, always attending events and walking around. Everywhere you go, you can see clean streets and art paintings on buildings. From one of the streets in Biccari, you can see a countryside villa with horses and a convent to the east. I decided to take a walk one day. The villa has 2 horses in the front garden and overlooks the town. The convent mentioned is the convent of Sant'Antionio da Padova and was built in 1467. It's composed of a church, a cloister and an olive grove garden. In 1776, the convent became a place of theological worship. In the 1800s, the convent was temporarily used as a barracks until the end of the Napoleonic Wars. From what I gathered, today it's owned by the friars and is used as student residence and novitiate. From about 6 p.m. the people gather in the piazzas, watch children play, have drinks, eat gelato and enjoy the evening's entertainment.
Grazie, grazie così, grazie donatori e adesso
Vi ringrazio.
vi ringrazio. No, le benemerenze sono finite.
Sì. Ah, se vuole stanno dentro quelli che non sono venuti.
Cambiamo il nome e la diamo a voi.
Come mai se ne va? Non è piaciuto quel che abbiamo detto?
Il bambino è solo, perché non è quello in braccio, il bambino è l'altro.
I woke up to loud music one morning, and it was this man who drives around selling fruit. The music is a way of attracting customers.
Yes, tomato.
So, you've already seen some of the sites here in Biccari. Now I'd like to share with you a very special historical site. In the year 1870, Italy became a union. But the people in the south, especially the farmers, didn't like this idea. They didn't like the people from the north, especially those from Milan. So basically what happened is all the nobles from the different villages had to vote for the unification, and most were for this. especially those in Biccari. Now, the noble family in Biccari was called the Giovanni Menicella, and their residence is right behind me. So what happened is, just before the unification, a lot of the farmers came down this alleyway and they started banging on this door right here with hammers and pitchforks, and basically they wanted to kill the family.
Walking around with me.
We heard from Angelo that there was going to be a show at one of the parks later in the evening, so we investigated.
Ci mette a fare gara.
No, ci deve mettere che ci dice
Poi stanno pure le argentine qua.
Ma dove stanno gli argentini? Dove li hai visti gli argentini?
Hai visto?
The music and festivity goes on until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. in the morning, with restaurants still open. Therefore, it is essential that you also siesta in the afternoon or you'll burn out. Traveling artists are paid for by either the bars or from coffers from the local municipality. Occasionally, it's sponsorships from companies. It is important to keep in mind that this festivity only takes place in August. This is to celebrate the town's patron saint, San Donato. Food trucks were brought in from far and wide to supply food for what is to be the main evening for the 2-week-long festival.
Volanti di bontà, la lastia, anche se non l'hai bevuta. Prendere di notte un aeroplano, volare ed andare lontano.
This is the local primary school of Biccari.
Ricordo che mi devo ricordare che tutto scompare, l'armonia rimane, rimane la grazia nell'imperfezione, una vecchia, vecchissima storia d'amore, storia d'amore.
Across Italy, there are many Argentinians that in recent years have come to Italy to claim ancestral citizenship. Some of them can speak Italian, and others have to learn how to integrate with Italian culture. Biccari is no exception to hosting some of these migrants, all of whom enter Italy legally. Their culture can be experienced through the events that they hold, such as the one we sampled this evening. This dish was delicious, but expensive at €9 a plate or 10 USD.
Ancora più strazianti sono le lunghe settimane dei viaggi verso il Sud America, in particolare verso l'Argentina.
The next day we popped over to a neighboring farming hamlet, who were also hosting an event of their own. The main reason, however, for coming to this area was to actually explore and film a local ruin. The hamlet we just visited is called Tertiveri, a hamlet with a medieval history. The ruin that I was so interested in is called Torteboli, which used to be a house tower that can be dated back to 969 AD. The tower used to be the seat and home of a bishop called Benevento. Italy will always have a special place in my heart. Its complex history, food, and the finesse of the people in the south, where heritage and family come first, is definitely something I enjoyed sharing with my family. Anyway folks, that's all I have to share for now. Please stay tuned for more adventures from Italy. Thanks for watching.